All right. And what I'm going to do to get started, let's see, is I am going to share my screen here. Let's see, you guys have to let me know if you can see this. There we go. Can you guys see my screen?
There it is, yes.
Perfect. All right. So welcome everybody to our Lunch and Learn South Florida Tech Hub. So I'm going to go a little bit over what South Florida Tech Hub is and what we do, and then we'll get to the meat of it, and I'll hand it over to the folks at SIM, and we can get right into the Lunch and Learn. So to get us started, a little bit about the organization. South Florida Tech Hub, we are a nonprofit organization, and my slide is not for some reason switching. Hold on one second, I'm gonna try this again. Technology is wonderful when it works. Let me see. And if it does not work this time, then I'm just gonna talk. I'm good at that, so it should be okay. There we go, let's see if it switches. There we go, okay, second time's a charm. All right, so building South Florida Tech Hub, that is our mission statement. So it is a pretty broad mission statement. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what we do and how we're building South Florida's Tech Hub. Oh, I always put this slide in because I forget to introduce myself. So I am Nikki Caboose, CEO at the organization, and a little bit about the organization. So we are a nonprofit organization, 501c6. We also actually do have a foundation side, which is the 501c3. And we are currently at about just under 250 corporate members across the region. We support Miami-Dade through Martin County. So it's Miami, Broward, Palm Beach, and Martin counties. And basically our purpose is to foster a community of technology, innovation, and creativity in South Florida. So anything that's connected to tech, innovation, or entrepreneurship, that's kind of what we focus on. And to show you just a few of our members across the region, these are probably some of the larger, more recognizable names. We have everybody from Office Depot and AWS and UKG, all the way down to some of the smaller companies. So our membership is individual, like startup founders. It could be one person, all the way to some of these larger companies. So it's a little bit of everybody in between. I won't go into detail with these, but just wanted to give you guys an overview of some of our main initiatives or four core pillars. So we do focus a lot on talent, everything from K through 12 education all the way to higher ed, a lot with working with the higher education institutions on their degrees or coursework, all the way down to we have kids coding programs. Branding is working with our economic development offices, tourist bureaus on how are we branding South Florida as a tech hub. Community is bringing all the people together. So we work with a lot of other organizations and nonprofits like SIM that we're going to have present today, to local user groups, meetup groups. They can be, AWS groups in the community, and really just making sure that we're promoting what they're doing, connecting people so that when people come into our community, they know where to find resources and folks that have the similar interests. And then the fourth core pillar is startups or entrepreneurship. So we focus a lot, again, like talent, we work with K through 12. So on entrepreneurship, we work a lot with junior achievement all the way up through, our startup founders that have new companies that are getting started in the region. So our member peer groups, we've got in total about 20 different peer groups and committees. Again, I'm not going to go through this in detail because there's a lot of them, but basically when you join as a member, you can find a peer group or committee that's specifically better for you or has other peers that are kind of with similar interests or similar roles as you. And we typically meet once a month. These are some of the committees. And our membership, again, won't go to this in detail, but we are a membership-driven organization. So most of our members are corporate, meaning that they're companies that get involved and they just basically have different resources available to them to help them with promotion or philanthropic efforts, talent, whatever it may be that you're looking for as resources to help your organization. Some of our events. So we stay, for those of you that know us, we stay pretty active. I stay pretty busy, but we have everything from tech talks, panel discussions. We have a podcast, we do lunch and learns, and then larger events like our hackathons and expos. But there's always something to do. And normally every week there's at least something to get engaged in. So one of my last slides here is, I know there's always folks that are looking for job opportunities. If you go to our website, there's actually under the button that says talent, there is a career board or a job board, but we also have something that's pretty cool as the resume distributor. Is if you're looking through the job board and you don't find something that is like perfect for you in that moment, you can actually create a little profile, upload your resume, and once you hit submit, it goes to all of our member companies at once. So it's an easy way to kind of get your resume in the hands of a bunch of companies all at one time. And if you'd like to join either our Slack channel that's got about, I don't know, I think we're at 5,200 people right now. It's pretty active. It's just techhubsouthflorida.org/Slack. Or you can text your email to the number here you see on the screen. It's the 561-250-7206 that actually adds you to our newsletter. You can also get added to that just on our homepage at techhubsouthflorida.org. And those go out every Monday with just different tech news, startup opportunities, upcoming events, just kind of keeps you in the loop with everything going on in the community. And last but not least here, so this is actually the meat of today and why you guys are here, is our Lunch and Learn today is in collaboration with SIM South Florida. So I am not going to steal any of your thunder and tell you anything about SIM. I'm going to let him do that. But our topic for today is the importance of mentors, sponsors, and networking. So I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to let you take over and present, and then that way you can pass it again.
Awesome. Can everybody see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
All right. So hey, everyone. Vyom Upadhyay, Vice President of SIM. Just a brief intro myself. Executive Director of Software at MDVIP, and then I also do some fractional CIO, CTO type consulting on the side. So let's dive a little bit into SIM South Florida. So our mission, adjacent to South Florida Tech Hub's mission, is to really build a technology leadership hub in South Florida. We're firm believers in supporting leadership growth. We want to have managers and directors and mid-level technology leaders ultimately end up becoming CIOs and CTOs of various organizations and give them opportunities and skills and experience to do that. SIM, Society of Information Management, is a nationwide organization that has been around for decades. So there's 40 chapters nationwide with 5,000 plus members. Representing 2,300 companies. We're a relatively smaller chapter, but quickly growing, and we do have a number of CIOs, CTOs, CDOs, and then other leaders in technology that represent our chapter. Joining SIM gives you access to this nationwide network, and it's a nice kind of complementary organization to work with South Florida Tech Hub. On the left below, I thought I'd kind of give a little shout out to everybody who attended the bowling event last night. So we actually helped raise some funds, and thanks to Elizabeth and Ken and everybody who helped organize it. We raised almost $5,000 for South Florida Tech Hub's foundation arm that ultimately ends up going to support the Code South Florida efforts and helping kids code. Member benefits. So similar to South Florida Tech Hub, but more at a national scale, we do have various interest groups around, information security, digital risk. There's a very active women in tech or women leaders in tech type organization. If you are in the middle of a career transition as leader, there's a very active members in transition program that helps everything from resume reviews to support calls to nationwide recruiting. You have access to Infotech Research Group research. You are also, one of the coolest part about SIM that I find kind of right along with our mission is our focus on leadership development, and that's why we're here to talk about today. And there's a variety of different programs. The Emerging Leader Development Program is one that Ken and Leslie helped bring to life in South Florida, so thank you guys for doing that. And we're today going to focus a little bit on the leadership reputation piece of that. So a wide variety of benefits with SIM South Florida. Last thing I'll plug with SIM is please visit us at simsfl.org. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. We have a really cool membership incentive right now with South Florida Tech Hub, and if you join SIM right now, you pretty much get membership through the end of next calendar year, and it works out to be just under $20 a month. And then if you like what you hear today from Ken, we also have an Emerging Leadership Development Program. Just to kind of put some context on it, for these types of leadership programs, programs, if you go in other places, whether it's other kind of organizations or universities, run into the tens of thousands of dollars. And I think SIM does a pretty good job of distilling that information and still bringing that cohort-based experience, so you can learn from each other in a very affordable way. So that's a little bit about SIM. I want to introduce Ken Jarvis, who's our speaker for today. Ken is awesome. He is part of our advisory committee as the CIO member for SIM South Florida. Also mentors with Tech Runway, as well as a member of R&B Network Group, which is a pretty high-end kind of consulting organization. Founder, CEO, CIO, CTO, I mean, any kind of CXO of various companies that Ken has helped either form or lead. And then probably his coolest experience that I find is that he actually used to lead the IRS of South Africa when he was there. He was the CIO over there and was recognized by Gartner Research as driving a lot of thought leadership in that organization. So with that, thank you everyone for joining today. Please consider SIM, follow us, and I will turn it over to Ken.
Thank you, Liam, and good afternoon, everybody. If I could just share my screen now, be great. So let me do this quickly. Hopefully you can see my screen.
Ken, I did have one quick question for you before you get started. Do you prefer to take questions throughout, or do you want to wait till the end to do a Q&A?
Absolutely going to cover that. We cover it right now, Nikki. Please throw
Perfect.
questions at me now, okay?
Perfect.
I
Thank
like
you.
the interactivity of it. I think it's more important that people get out of the presentation what they want by asking the questions. So the answer to your question is please jump in, throw the questions in chat. I'll happily pick them up and answer on the fly. So yes, yes, please do that. Well, once again, good afternoon, everybody. I am a member of both SIM and Tech Hub, and I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes trying to squeeze a 2-hour presentation into 30 minutes. But most of that, Nikki, to your point, is interactive. I think I can get through the presentation quite quickly. If we get interactive, I'll speed up and try and cut it short. So as I'm talking, I'm going to, I don't know when I go in full screen mode, I can't do the, I can't see the chat. So I'm going to just quickly go through the slides in this format with everybody.
Ken, I was going to say, if you want, I'm watching the chat. So if you do want to go to full screen, I'm happy to read out the questions for you.
If you do that for me, please don't hesitate to interrupt, Nikki.
Okay, perfect.
So I'm just throwing a few stats up just for people. If you think mentoring is not important, these are statistics that are thrown out by various organizations. You can read them yourself. I don't need to read them for you. I am going to go into right now, what is the difference between mentoring, coaching, and sponsoring? And networking should be fairly obvious. People quite often say, what's the difference? And I really love the simple definition that the lady that does my presentations came up with. A coach talks to you. Think of a coach, think of a tennis coach, think of a golf coach, think of a baseball coach, think of a football coach, think of a field hockey coach. A coach tells you what to do. You need to change your swing. You need to change your serve. You need to do it. A coach talks to you and shows you what you need to be doing. A mentor talks with you. A mentor is engaged in conversation. A mentor will say, well, what do you think? Okay, have you thought of this? If you did this, what do you think the outcome will be? So a mentor is an engagement and a two-way conversation. Coach is more of one way. And the sponsor talks about you. Okay, usually a sponsor is within the organization you work for, and they are talking about you. They're continually talking about you, talking your brand, and we'll go through that on one of the slides later on. I found there's a really simple way of differentiating between the three roles. So with that in mind, let's just quickly talk about why does one need a mentor? Part of thinking differently is learning to see differently. Let me give you a real life example of my own self. When I was 27, I was appointed into my first CIO role. It was the CIO of the 5th largest life insurance company in South Africa. By the way, I left South Africa 6 years ago. I've been in the States since then. Worked for IBM for 10 years, CIO for 20 years for major corporates, ran my own business in South Africa, predominantly do mentoring and coaching for 10 before moving to the States. Part of thinking differently to see differently. 27 years old, I was appointed into my first CIO position, life insurance company. And the CEO of that company came in and said, Ken, I'd like you to take this role. I said, fantastic. Yes, of course, I'll take it. He said, and the first thing I want you to do is downsize the IBM mainframe to AS400s. Now, that was in the late 1980s, so most of you may not have heard of the terminology I'm referring to, but effectively he was taking this big bulky IBM mainframe that took a football field of computer center and downsized it to mid-size computers. And I turned around to him and I said, with utmost respect, so you can't do that. Okay, I came from a mainframe, but you can't do that. His exact words to me were, I don't pay you to tell me why it can't be done. I pay you to tell me how it can be done. And he shooed me away. And I went out of that room and I phoned up a friend of mine at IBM and I said, I've got this nutty CEO. I need to put something down on paper to tell him why his idea won't work. Won't you help me? 5 days later, I went back into the CEO and I said, here's how I can do what you've asked me to do. I had to see things differently. If I'd have thought the way I always thought, it can't be done. I needed to unpack. Talking to this colleague at IBM taught me to see things differently. And I put a solution on the table for the CEO. So that's what a mentor will do for you. They'll teach you to see things differently, which gives you a different perspective, a different outlook onto what you're trying to do. No career does the step. Okay, you don't go one step up, one step up, one step up, one step up. A career goes all over the place. Okay, you'll go sideways, you'll go backwards, you'll go downwards, you'll jump 2 steps. Okay, you'll jump 3 steps. No career is as perfect as that stairway that you see there. A mentor will help you through that. Should I take a step back? I'm being offered a really great role in another company, but it's slightly junior to where I am now. Should I take it? You talk through with your mentor. What's the benefits of taking a step backwards in order to go forwards? I left IBM and joined a bank in South Africa. And I went backwards and took less money. And it was just after I got married. And my dad said to me, I was nuts. 24 months later, I was earning 50% more than I was at IBM and was 2 levels higher. Okay, because my IBM expertise put me on a fast track in the bank that I went to work for. Okay, sometimes going backwards will speed up the movement forwards. And a mentor will help you work through that situation. So why is mentoring important? Why does everybody, and I believe everybody needs a mentor, and it makes no difference how senior you are, how junior you are, where you are in your career, you need a mentor. Vion mentioned the fact that I was CIO of the equivalent of the IRS. It was probably my most responsible role. I had 2,500 people reporting into me. South Africa at that time was just coming out of its first elections. We were democracy for the first time. And it was important that South Africa raised the revenue to do the things that we needed to do in the country. I had 3 mentors in that role. 3. One was a tech mentor, one was a management mentor, and one was a change management mentor, because I couldn't find one mentor that covered all 3 areas for me. So I had 3 paid for mentors, okay, that would help me when I needed assistance. So a mentor will give you access to expertise. I've been around 45 years. I've made more mistakes than I've made correct decisions. Having access to a mentor will avoid you making those mistakes. Okay, because I'll say, whoa, don't try that. You must see the scar on my left shoulder. Okay, you must see the scar behind my back near my right kidney. Okay, getting access to people that not only have done the right things, but have done the wrong things as well. Giving you unique leadership approaches to different scenarios. Refer back to my IBM mainframe example. Okay, different approaches to do something. Outside perspective. A mentor is not involved in the organization. They don't understand the politics, don't want to understand the politics. It's outside. I see the forest, not the trees. Navigate ambiguity. I'm not quite sure how this works. Please help me understand this. I had a coaching session earlier this week with somebody who was battling with an HR issue. And it was interesting because in today's world, human resource management, people management is becoming very, very problematic from a management perspective. The example I give people at the moment is I would hate to be in a leadership role where I have a delegation of my staff come to me and say, we would like the company to enforce the use of pronouns on Zoom calls. So behind my name should be whatever my preferred pronoun will be. That's an okay request, okay? Many companies are forcing that. Many companies are saying, I'm not going to force it, but I'll let you do what you want. But if I enforce it, what are the rules? What if somebody wants to make up their own pronouns? Do I allow that? I can't make those decisions by myself. I need guidance, I need mentors, and I need collaboration with everybody involved. So the ability to navigate is there. They'll help you build new connections, valuable and unbiased guidance. They're not there to take sides. They're not there to even take your side. A mentor can be just as critical about what you're doing as helping you get through a situation where you don't know what to do. I have many times said, hey, stop that, you know what's right. Once again, a session I had last week, somebody said, I don't know what to do. I said, yes, you do. You know the right answer. Yes, I've got to do this. I said, why do you even ask me the question? Okay, you know what the answer is already. Okay, it was a silly question. You know what the right thing to do is. Trusted ally. And this guy, I know you've heard these stories before, so I do apologize that you're hearing them again. Trusted ally. My biggest mentoring and coaching role was with a software development company in South Africa, which was at that stage 2,500 people. It is the largest developer of online gambling software, not gaming as in the games we all play, but as in gambling software in the world. They're now 4,000 people worldwide. And I did mentoring and coaching. And I remember phoning the owner who was in London. And I said, you have a problem. Some middle management are leaving. There are reasons. These are the reasons. He said, this was on a Thursday evening. He said, what are you doing the weekend? I said, well, I said, please fly to London. I want to talk to you about it. Friday night, I flew to London, which is an overnight flight. And I met with him Saturday morning. And the first thing he said to me was, please give me the names of the people that you're talking to. And I said, no. I said, people have trusted me with that information. I'm not going to share that with you. But I pay your salary. I said, I don't care. Okay. Mentoring is a trust relationship. I can't break that trust. Then I'm going to fire you. I said, fine, I'd rather be fired than break the trust of the people that I'm mentoring. No, but I really need the names because I need to fix it. I said, well, fix it without me giving you their names. I said, imagine if I give you the names and it gets back. Nobody's going to talk to me again. Therefore, I am useless to you because then I can't give you the information I'm about to give you on what the problem is and how we can solve it. So no, I'm not going to give you the names, even if you want to fire me. We put a program together without names. We executed it the following week. The week after that, the noise had gone in the system. To this day, he does not know those names. It has to be a trusted relationship, okay, and a source of knowledge. So a mentor is a very important role in everybody's lives. If you're doing it one-on-one, you come to me and say, Ken, will you be my mentor in a private capacity? If I had the time, I'd do it for free, okay? I strongly urge corporates that they need to be hiring mentors for their staff and saying, at this level, I'm bringing in a mentor half a day a month, and that mentor is available to you. Please set up meetings. And the corporate should be paying for that because you do get better staff and better management all through. So that's the mentor role. What is a sponsor? Okay, I'm not going to cover coach. Coach is fairly straightforward, tells you what to do. What is a sponsor? This is somebody or people. It can be plural. It doesn't have to be one person. It can be more than one person. This is somebody that will talk about you inside a company. They'll help secure high visibility assignments. Most corporates will say, need a special project, who are we going to put on it? A sponsor will say, I would like to put person A on this. I think they're ready to do a very important project. I think they can add value to it. That gives you exposure. It gives you visibility. It gives you branding. And everything revolves around your brand. So a sponsor is talking for you. They give you endorsements. Okay, people will be saying, who should we put forward for the Employee of the Month? A sponsor will be putting that forward. Who should we be putting forward for a promotion? A sponsor will say, I think this person's ready for a promotion. Better career opportunities. Exposure to a larger network within the organization. They will introduce you to the business, introduce you to other parts in the business. They're advocates. They're focused on your career. They're personally invested. And if you have a strong sponsor in an organization, it's a retention issue. So once again, let me give an example. And please, Nikki, interrupt if people have got questions. I'd love to take some real life questions. Obviously, it can't get too personal because we've got an audience. but yeah, I'm happy to take some questions.
Yeah, actually, we did just get one, Ken. Christine was asking, can a mentor also be your sponsor?
Yes. Okay. The answer is yes, but I would recommend that I'm gonna give a subtle change to my answer. Can a mentor be a sponsor? I would say I would rather a sponsor be a mentor, because I think the sponsorship element is more important than the mentoring element within a company. It's always best to have a mentor that's not in the company. My opinion. I know many people would argue with that. It's my opinion that the mentor should be outside the company. Remember my unbiased. I'm not going to give you a biased opinion. If I'm in the company, I will have some bias as to what my answer would be on mentoring. So yes, I know many mentors in a company that mentor. In fact, companies go, you need a mentor. I'm going to let the head of warehousing be your mentor. I'm going to let the head of this be your mentor. I prefer to see that as a sponsorship role rather than a mentoring role. There's an element of mentoring brought into it. Of course, there is. But I personally believe that a mentor should be an outside person who's completely neutral, has no sway in what's happening in the business. So can a mentor be a sponsor? I'm going to swing around and say a sponsor can be a mentor. And you may say, what's the difference? Hopefully I've tried to explain that in the best way I can.
Ken, and we do have one more question here is Nadia writes, mentors, she feels can also be people that you've never met in person. She said someone that she looks up to is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She wants to know your thoughts.
Okay, so do you look up and respect people? Of course, you always need people that you want to model yourself on, try and copy, learn from their moral values, their moral system, etc., etc. So RBG is a prime example. Okay, somebody that even men, I mean, people, lots of ladies look up. Why can't men look up to Ruth Bader Ginsburg? I mean, there's no problem with a male saying this is a great role model to follow. So the answer is they're not mentors though, because you're not talking to them. Okay, a mentor, remember, is talking with you. Come back to the definition. A coach talks to you, a mentor talks with you. So unless you're engaged with Ruth Bader, but when she was alive, of course, she's not a mentor. She's a role model that you can learn from. Everybody reads leadership books. Everybody looks up to people. Everybody learns from people. You also learn bad things from people. Okay, I'm obviously not going to go into politics. I've only been in the country 5 years. I have no right to go into politics. But you can learn from leadership what not to do. Okay, you'll be looking at leaders and going, gee whiskers, I hope I never do that. Gee whiskers, that's behavior I don't want to ever bring into my life. So you can also look at leadership and say, I don't want to do that. So can RBG be your mentor? No, but she can certainly be a role model on whom you wish to base your moral values, your judgments, and potentially the way you live your life. Yes, but it's not a mentoring role. Remember, a mentor talks with you, talks you through situations. Okay. Okay, so we've spoken about sponsorship, and I was going to give some examples of sponsorship. So Viam very kindly spoke about my role at the equivalent of the IRS, and it was a very interesting role for me because I used to stand in for the head of the equivalent. There were 3 of us used to take turns standing in. So if the commissioner of the IRS went away or overseas on a workshop or on holiday or whatever the case, always had to appoint a stand-in. That was government rules and regulations. It's the same here. There's no difference. And I used to sometimes head up the equivalent of the IRS, and that's a great responsible role, huge accountability. And as they say, with great power comes great responsibility. But my boss became my sponsor inside the South African government. And as I say, it was a few years past 94 when South Africa had its first democratic elections. And it was when we were trying to get money in to build houses, get water to homes, get electricity to people, build schools, okay, try and right the wrongs of the past. So it was a very, very important role. And most of the government was focused on supporting what the equivalent of the IRS was doing. And my boss was my sponsor into the rest of government. Because we were doing such a good job at SARS, suddenly I became an advisor to other governmental departments. And he was sponsoring me. He was saying, you need to talk to Ken. Ken, you need to be doing this. So I became quite a respected individual in government. I'm trying to be arrogant. Quite a respected individual in government. Not because it was me, but because my sponsor was advocating for me. They were building my career. They were building my brand. They were exposing me to a network. They were endorsing me. And by the way, because of that, I stayed a lot longer than I ever thought I was going to stay. I thought I was going to go in, do a quick job and leave. I stayed longer because I was enjoying it so much. I say to people, unashamedly, it was the best 4 working years of my life, working for a corporate. And you say working for government was the best 4 working? Yes. Okay, and I include working for IBM. I include working for big corporate listed companies in South Africa. Working for the South African government was the best 4 working years of my life. So a sponsor is absolutely critical and important to you. Networking, where are we on time? 12:34, we're in good time. Networking, okay. Networking has got nothing to do with mentoring, nothing to do with sponsorship. Networking is about How many people have you got on your phone that you can phone with a problem, that you can phone and say, let's have lunch, that you can phone and say, let's get together as a group and talk about how we can save the world. Let's go to a football match together. And for me, that's soccer. For Americans, I know that's football. I can talk both. So why does networking matter? It gives you business opportunities, okay? If you have a strong network, you will be approached. You will be sought after. People will come and talk to you about, hey, I know you. I know what you're capable of. How would you like to join company ABC? And I'm not talking about recruitment agencies. I'm just talking. People phone me all the time and say, Ken, do you know anybody that can do this? Ken, do you know anybody that can do this? I'll look within my network and say, hey, I think this is a good career opportunity for you. The bigger the network, the more leads and referrals you will get. Okay. Latest trends. Now, I hear about latest trends from networking more than any web material reading, more than anything I can read, more than any of the newsletters that I get. Sorry, Nikki, I know yours is a good newsletter, so is Sim, but it's relevant to me. But you're not giving me a lot of latest trends. I was on a call this morning to a partner of PwC in London. Said to me, have you ever heard of, where's it gone? Okay, trydatabook.com. Okay, I have no idea what trydatabook.com is. I had a quick look before this meeting. I'm so excited about what I saw. Okay, I wouldn't have heard of databook.com without this. I'm not trying to sell it, by the way. I've got nothing to do with it. I wouldn't have heard of it without the network. Okay, he said, Ken, I found this most amazing tool. Now I can go into companies, or Greg Tafford and I, who meet every now and then for some tacos in Hollywood. Okay, I'll say, Greg, have you seen Databooks? Okay, can we talk about it? I think this is exciting. Okay, and then Greg will have heard of it. So getting to know the latest trends is important. Improved capacity to innovate. If I know what Greg is doing at one of the companies he's talking to, I could potentially take that back to one of my companies and use that innovation somewhere else. Or we can join ideas and come up with new innovation. This is about networking. This is about having a coffee session, a breakfast session. And yes, of course, you can have a Zoom session in today's world. Absolutely no problem. Brand visibility externally, not just internally. New connections and partnerships. Talking to suppliers is just as important to talking to individuals. New experiences and opportunities. Hey, you'd be surprised what you learn when you talk to people. I learn all the time from conversations. Viom and I met through Sim most probably 4 or 5 months ago. We had a lunch, and suddenly what Viom's doing, what I'm doing, and where's the interaction, where's the possibilities, how can we work together, are there. Which is forging meaningful working relationships is part of that networking. Discovery and learning, I think I've covered that. Diverse cross-functional team to pull knowledge and ideas. You can set up meetings. Hey, I think 4 of us need to get together. Let's get together and explore something. And by the way, that can be entrepreneurial as well. I was mentoring the CIO of a car tracking company in South Africa. It was called Matrix. It was tracking your cars. America is just being exposed to car hijacking. It was fairly common in South Africa for a while. And what you did is you put a car tracker in your car. So if people stole your car, you could track it and go and get it back. Providing it was still in one piece, because they used to take it to chop shops and chop it up before you get it back. But he was the CIO. And he came to me once and said, Ken, I got this idea. He spoke to me about the idea. And I said, I think this is awesome, but we need to talk to a few more people. So we put a people of 5 people together. Between the 5 of us, we started a company. Okay, I was purely a shareholder and the chairman of the company. I had 10% of the company. The guy with the idea had 51% of the company. We built that company. We ran it for 5 years and sold it to PwC in South Africa. That's the same guy I was talking to earlier. I've had TriDataBooks. He was bought by PwC. When you work as a team, you come up with ideas, you start businesses, you create the businesses, you sell the businesses, all entrepreneurial. But it's all through the network, all through the networks and collective benefits of making the connections through that. So I have rushed through this, okay? We have 20 minutes left. I was supposed to leave, I think, 10 minutes at the end. Well, I don't know if the general Q&A, Nikki, or was that my Q&A, but I had 12:50 deadline. I have rushed through this in the interest of time. As I said, Leslie, the first time we did this was 1 hour and 55 minutes, but we did have a lot of dialogue. I've got one final slide to wrap it all up, but I just want to open up that. Anybody got an issue that they're brave enough to ask about and say, hey, this is happening to me in the workplace at the moment. What do you think? and it's a generic one. And give you an example of how mentoring works. If somebody's got a real example of something they want to talk through that's not too personal, hey, throw it out there, and I'll show you how a mentor works, how the dialogue and the interactivity works. So just if anybody's got something they think they'd like to talk through.
I do have a question in chat for you, Ken.
Okay.
Gino asked, does your mentor need to be aware of their role to you? And if they knew it, would perhaps that change the relationship?
Oh, great question. You can be a mentor without thinking you're a mentor. Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. So in that instance, then you could turn around and say, hey, let's start a bit more of a formal mentoring relationship. Let's set up a monthly meeting where you know I'm available to you for you an hour, and you can come in and see me. Remember that a mentee is meant to get inside my head. I have over 45 years expertise between these years. Okay. Your role is to get inside my head and get that information out. I don't know what you're struggling with. I don't know what questions you want answered. I don't know what advice and guidance you are seeking on any given day. So you have to come and say, Ken, have you had this situation before? Ken, have you had that situation before? Ken, I'm struggling with this. Have you got any guidance? Okay. And there's a place where mentors can't go. I shared with Leslie in the 2-hour session that we ran. I was sitting in a room once, and a very young, talented, fast-tracked female executive was there. And I'd noticed she changed her demeanor over the past couple of months. And the CEO of the company said, hey, her performance is dropping off. Why don't you find out what's going on? I said, hey, noticed a change in you. You're not yourself. What's going on? And she jumped in this, and I said, hey, no, come. You're talking to me now. Tell me what's the matter. I said, if it's home life, it's fine. You can talk to me. You can trust me. Boy, be careful what you wish for. She burst into tears and shared with me that she had been abused as a child by an uncle. The uncle went away, but he'd come back in her life 6 months ago. And nobody knew. Even her mother didn't know that the uncle had abused her as a child. And she spent 20 minutes talking to me and sharing this with me. As a mentor, I sat there going, this has never happened to me before. I just knew whatever I did, I was in trouble. Okay. So at the end of it, when she kept quiet. I said, listen, thank you for trusting me to share that with me. You've shared something you've not even shared with your mother. I said, I am honored that you felt comfortable enough to share that with me. But I can't help you. Whatever I say now may be the wrong guidance and advice. Whatever I say. If I say, go and talk to your mom, it could be the wrong advice. If I say, do this, I said, all I can do is advise you to go and seek help. I can't say a single thing about what you've just told me because I'm not an expert. So I drew the line. I can't help you with this situation. Next time I saw her a month later, she said to me, I've gone and sought help. It's working out. Thank you very much. But at that point in time, Ken, all I needed was an ear. I said, then I'm glad I was your ear. And once again, thank you for the trust that you put in me. So a mentor must also know where the boundaries are. You could just imagine if I'd have started trying to give advice. I'm not trained in that. Who knows what may have happened based on any advice that I tried to give. So back to the question, can a mentor be a mentor without being official? Of course they can.
Awesome. We have another question here from Greg. How do you feel about group mentoring, that is having a discussion with multiple mentors at the same time?
Okay, it doesn't fall into the definition of a mentor-mentee relationship. However, can you have a group dynamic, specifically networking, the points that I've got on the slide in front of you at the moment? Can you have a group dynamic of sharing ideas, sharing concerns. I used to run a CIO roundtable in South Africa. It was run by a professional company that scheduled these and ran it on a cost basis, and I was just a facilitator. And it would be 10 CIOs coming into a room and talking about their worries. They would say, guys, any of you been ransomware attacked lately? I had a, what did you do? How did you handle it? What did you do? How did you handle this? So it would be a group of like-minded people with like-minded problems talking about their problems, okay? Yeah. Latest trends, okay? New connections, new experiences, discovery and learning. And the discovery and learning could be a negative experience. I remember the one session, Greg, where everybody in the room was moaning about Microsoft licensing and the lack of understanding of how Microsoft licensing worked in a corporate. And we all said, we don't understand it. They're confusing it for us. They're making it more difficult. We need to do this. And we all agreed that at the next meeting, we would have a Microsoft licensing expert come and talk to us and hear our concerns. Is that mentoring? Not in the true sense of the word, but is it mentoring in the sense that you're helping overcome a problem? Yes, but it's in a team dynamic, not on a one-on-one dynamic. So I don't think a mentor can be a group, but it doesn't mean you can't solve problems and issues in the same way as a mentor would do it, but you're doing it collectively as a group. Hopefully that answered the question, Greg.
That was awesome. And I think Nikki is back if she wants to take over.
Yes, sorry, I got kicked off momentarily there.
Okay, I didn't mean to do it, Nikki. Just joking.
No, it's okay. I just, yeah, I was like, I felt like at least I got the question out there, and then next thing I know, it was blank. So
we've handled a couple more questions since when you dropped off, Nikki.
Good, perfect. Yeah, so if there was any additional questions in the chat, I may have missed them. Was there anything else there, Nadia, that I can't see in chat?
Oh, so you don't see them probably. Yeah, I can read them out. So sorry, Maximiliano, am I pronouncing your name correctly? I think so. Yeah, you were asking, can someone search for mentors in any way or just broadcast networking? I have never seek. I just met people at work who just were very important in my professional career and life as well.
So can you search for mentors? Yes, find me a mentor, okay? It's not the best way of doing it. I would rather you talk to your friends, your colleagues at work, even HR, human, whatever, talent management, whatever the terminology that companies use. Unfortunately, companies use different terminologies at the moment. There's no standard terminology. I would talk to them and say, do you have a recognized, trusted mentor? Because if you go and just do a cold search, you're not quite sure what you're going to get. So I would rather you have a mentor recommended for you than go and do a cold search, and start with talking to friends and colleagues. And if you don't know that, then use Tech Hub, reach out to Nikki and say, hey, so you've got a couple of mentors that you would recommend, and interview the mentor first. Now, I have walked away from mentoring assignments. If there's not a synergy and an alignment of the personality types, it's not going to work. Okay, I've said before, hey, this is not going to work for you and I. Okay, your personality type and my personality type are just going to fight. This is not what it's meant to be. But I can recommend you to somebody who I think may fit your personality type. So don't be shy to interview mentors. Find the one that you think is right for you, and if it's not right, cancel it after one meeting. But I would rather people use their friends, colleagues, and the company they work for to give recommendations and look cold. I think looking cold could be risky.
Awesome. And I think that was it. But Greg also recommended this website, the vmt.org for search. Other than that, I don't see any other questions unless someone wants to.
Thanks, Nadia. So just one more slide. You can read this yourself. Okay. The reason I have one in blocks is because the original quote had the word he. Okay. And obviously in today's world, the use of the word he is not correct. So I just switched that. So that's why I boxed it, because otherwise it's not a direct quote. It's a very interesting world we live in with situations like that. And once again, seeking guidance on what is the right thing to do. So I attended a function about 2 months ago, and somebody stood up and said, I am the master of ceremonies. The word master of ceremonies was banned in South Africa 10 years ago, because you're using the word master, which refers back to apartheid days. Okay. So when they said, I am the master of ceremonies, I immediately went, whoa, what are you doing? Okay. So once again, as a leader, you've got to be very careful as to the words you use, how you're coming across. I mean, I saw this quote, and even my lady that did the presentation, okay, you kept the word he, and I said, please change it to which one has overcome. Gee, Ken, you're getting very good at this. No, I'm not getting very good at this. I'm just very aware of it. And you need to become aware in today's world about those situations. So thank you, everybody. Nikki, thank you for the opportunity to talk to this team. As I say, I'm a member of Tech Hub, so I look forward to talking to you more over time. Thank you, Leslie, for the work we do together on the Leadership Development Program. This was one of the courses that we ran, and we're happy to run it again at any point in time. But thank you, Nikki. I'm going to hand back to you. And once again, thank you for the opportunity to talk to the team.
Of course. And actually, Ken, I have another question here for you. And I don't know how much, if any, that you talked about this maybe when I got cut out there, but I know there's a lot of companies that run what they call mentorship programs within the company. I have my own thoughts on this, but I'm curious just what your thoughts are, because to your point earlier, when you were talking about there has to be a connection between the mentor and the mentee. And I think sometimes the companies try to put you together and it doesn't always work. I just was wondering what your opinions were on that, because I feel like it's maybe kind of set up matchmaking coaching, but it's not really a mentor. Like, I don't know. I wanted to hear what you thought of that.
So coldly, I mean, what's the time? 12:51. Coldly, people in a company volunteer to be a mentor. They may have no mentoring skills whatsoever, and they go, "Oh, here's 5 names. Here's 10 names of people that went." They go, "Okay, you're number 1, you're number 2, you're number 3." No thought into the matching. Okay, and some people could be very poor mentors. Okay, they may not have the listening ability. They may become tell. And the whole point about mentoring is not to tell you what to do, is to talk it through. Okay, yeah, I will say to you, you did that wrong, you shouldn't have done it that way. That's part of the trusted relationship. But if you allocate a bad mentor to a mentee, this is not a recipe for success. It is. So in that situation, it's tough because usually a mentor is more senior. Okay, they're never going to give a mentee a junior person that's going to mentor them. So you're going to go to a VP or something, and you're just a manager or you're a team lead, and they're going to give you a VP to go to, and you don't get on. Okay, how do you tell the person, either the person or the person that put you together, this isn't working? We don't have a connection. But you have to do it. Otherwise, you're going to just be wasting your time and hating every minute of it and have a bad experience. So you need to man up. See, I've just done exactly what I'm not supposed to do. Person up, okay, and say, please, this is not working out. Yeah, the person's successful, a massive respect, but I need to build a relationship with somebody and it's not working out. So, yeah, do that. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with the company. It's not working. Don't have a mentor that you are not getting any good advice from. That's a recipe.
I have another question for you. So for those that may be listening that are interested in becoming a mentor, what is your suggestion on how do you do that? Because you just said, like, hey, they might not have experience. So how do you get started if you're like, hey, I'm more senior in my career, I want to help other people, I want to kind of, reach back down that ladder and pull some people up with me and support them, but I don't know how. I don't have that experience.
So there are 2 paths to take. Okay. The path I took was I didn't take any education, it came naturally to me. Okay, so I've not gone on any mentoring courses. I've not studied mentoring. In fact, I know people that have done it, and I think if I went on a mentoring course, it would actually not work for me. I think it would force me into working in a way that is not natural for me. I'm a natural person. We sit down, we have a conversation. We talk socially. We'll have an interesting conversation, and what comes out, and at the end of it, people say, that was great. I enjoyed the session. Thank you very much. I'll come back to that in a second. The other way is there's formal mentoring disciplines where you go on formal mentoring classes and you learn how to be a good mentor. That is extremely positive for those people who want, Nikki, the guidance that they say, I have no idea how to do this. There are mentoring courses where you learn how to become a mentor. You can learn how to become a coach. You can learn how to become a mentor. You can't learn how to become a sponsor. I don't know any course that can teach you how to become a sponsor, and you can't learn how to grow your network. Okay? That you just need to do yourself. But there are formal mentoring courses, and I know many people who have followed that who are magnificent mentors. So I'm not running it down. I'm advocating for it. If you don't know what to do, please go on a formal mentoring course. I didn't do it. As I say, I feel it comes naturally to me. And the more I looked at the courses, the more I thought this is going to actually hold me back, because they try and distill a certain way of working, and it doesn't suit my style. Yeah, hopefully today come across I'm just natural and I just talk as I want to talk. But you talk about following a certain path. This gaming company that I used to go to on a regular basis. I mean, I was there 2 days a week for 10 years. That's how much coaching I used to do. From when I walked in on a Tuesday morning to when I left on a Wednesday afternoon, I had back-to-back mentoring sessions for 10 years, 2 days a week. And the one guy came to me after a couple of years and he said, I believe I don't get promoted unless I talk to you. And I said, that's ridiculous. What do you mean? No, everybody says, unless Ken's been mentoring you, you don't get promoted. So I said, that's nonsense. I said, am I asked my opinion? Yes, I am. I said, it's not my decision. Well, I suppose I better have a session with you just to try it out. Okay. And we spoke through the first hour. And I said to him, look, yeah, next session, come with a few questions. I said, let's just give it a bash. Next session, he sat down and said, I got a question. We spent a whole hour talking just that one question. And the hour was up and the people are outside waiting. And he says, but I haven't finished talking to you yet. I said, good, then come next week. And then next week, he came, and after a few sessions, he just said to me, he said, I wish I hadn't waited 2 years to come to talk to you because I just love these sessions. Okay. So mentoring has perceptions with people about the importance of the role. At the end of the day, it's about my relationship with the mentee, nothing else.
Yeah, I feel like the mentor-mentee relationship can be very therapeutic as well. You know, a lot of times you do get to talk about things that you don't get a chance to do that in public, you know.
And for both, Nikki, don't underestimate the learning
Yes.
I get as well. Okay, I'm talking to people with problems. I go, yeah, I haven't come across this problem before, and I'm usually honest. I will try and figure it out. I'm learning. Okay, yeah. So it's therapeutic for both sides, and I have to tell you, I have fun. I love my mentoring sessions. Yeah, I get a tough one. Refer to the one about the lady I was talking about before. That was a tough session. I mean, I went home at the end of that visit drained because what she'd taken me through was mentally draining just for me. You know, and got home and the wife said, "What why are you not in this chipper mood as you usually are?" I said, "I had a couple of rough sessions this last 2 days." "No, what are they?" I said, "I can't talk to you about it. You know, it's just too sensitive for me to talk about." So I said, "But I just need to work my way through it because, you know, you hear about it and you hope it's never close to you, etc." But I take my mentoring seriously. Yeah, that mentee, by the way, that person and I still talk on a monthly basis as friends. As friends, not as mentors anymore. We still talk as friends. So we actually overcome a hurdle of mentor mentee and became friends because she just said that changed our relationship, and we still talk. And by the way, my wife has become friends with her as well, even though she doesn't know. Even though she doesn't know the story.
It became a family affair. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ken. This is really enlightening. Oh, I see. Oh, Max says, I really enjoyed the meeting. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Nikki, Nadia, and everyone. Have a nice long weekend. So yes, same sentiment. So thank you, Max. But yes, definitely, you know, check out the leadership program with Sim. Ken, thank you again. Viom, Leslie, Elizabeth, I think we've got all of you guys on here. But yes, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out. We are recording this, so we'll make sure to put this up on YouTube, reshare it. So if there's something that you're worried about missing, we'll make sure that we do get this back out to everybody. And if you have a link, or if there's a one page or any information that we can share, I'm happy to follow up to people that RSVP to get that out to them as well.
I think, Leslie, we do have a link to the Executive Leadership Development Program talking about what we do. Have you got that one page to Nikki that we could share?
Yes. Yeah, I'll send that to Nikki.
Okay, perfect.
Good.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend. Have a good long weekend. Happy Labor Day.
Thank
Yes,
you.
exactly. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.